it's Mal. Welcome back to the Doll Mom Podcast. Today is an episode that I've been super duper excited for. Oh my goodness, we have on the amazing Mary Jenner from The Butterfly Pig. Mary, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me on here.
Thank you so much for coming on. I am super duper excited for today's episode. Like I mentioned, I'm just beaming over here. So today we're going to be getting to know the butterfly pig. Some of you may not know what the butterfly pig is, which if you don't know, get ready to be familiar with it because your life's going to be changed because it is amazing. Spoiler alert. And then we're going to be getting to know Mary, and then we're going to be talking about the power of dolls and play. I'm super duper excited for this meaningful and impactful episode, so I feel without further ado, let's get this podcast started with. So we're going to be getting to know the butterfly pig. For listeners who are completely unfamiliar with the butterfly pig, can you tell us what your company is about?
Yeah, so we're all about making inclusive and educational medical toys and accessories for dolls and stuffed animals. So it's not only just for representation for kids who are undergoing medical experiences, but also for teaching like pediatric patient education in hospitals.
I love that. I remember when I first came across the butterfly pig, it was a video on TikTok. It landed on my For You page. And it was one of your videos where I was trying to think about the tool that it was. I can't really remember the exact one, but you had a doll in the video and you were showcasing your medical products. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so cool.
Yeah. I know we've had a couple videos go viral, and it does seem to be the ones where like the dolls are front and center.
How do you decide what medical devices to create?
All of our devices are made per the request of families and clinicians. So if it's a patient themselves that reaches out and asks for something, a family or nurses have reached out, and even child life specialists, where they're the ones who utilize these toys in the hospital most often. So it's all based off request, and basically whatever requests are most popular or what we try to prioritize at the time.
I love that. What's the process behind creating products? I know that you guys do research on your products.
Yeah, so, well, it's mainly more like discussions that we're having, and depending on the product type, we involve different people. So we recently did a toy dialysis machine, and I had a nurse practitioner that I was meeting with in order to make sure that it was educational and interactive enough to teach what they wanted to teach with it. We will make a prototype, and we'll usually get some feedback on it, and we make small adjustments until we're ready to release it. And then finally, that's when we put it out to sell.
Oh my goodness, I love that. Not only are these like toys that somebody can play with, but they're learning devices too.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it kind of feel safer learning about stuff that's otherwise really overwhelming. So we've had a lot of adults even reach out and say how it's helped them understand care more, or even like process existing experiences and traumas they have from their own medical care. And it's just like a safer way to go about learning about it and processing it.
Well, I just love that. And I just love the educational component. I love how you can experience something if you have a procedure coming up where it kind of dims the anxiety down or makes it less scary.
Exactly. And that's where they utilize this in healthcare situations already is the power of play. So that is really what we're trying to enhance, is making medical play more accessible for families.
What are some of your favorite products that you sell?
Ooh, that's a good question. The more interactive ones I really like. So we have like an IV pole where we have different style infusion pumps that can go on it. And there's little bags that we make that we fill with fun items. So our infusion bag is filled with like these really pretty iridescent clear beads. And then we have a feeding bag filled with mini fruit sprinkles. So I think that line is probably my favorite just because they're so fun.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love that. What message, thoughts, or feelings do you hope your products leave with whoever is interacting with them?
We really we want people to feel seen, because we're starting to see representation in like diversity and medical experiences more in like books and media, but the toy world, it's more of a slow rollout. And so every once in a while we'll see toys like the Barbies that represent different medical experiences, but we want families and kids who see our toys to feel seen and validated and know that they're not alone in what they're experiencing.
Yeah, I love that. I will agree. I feel like the rollout of being diverse and including others in toys has been quite slow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my mind when I see a new Barbie comes out who represents, like, for example, autism or something like that. I'm like, I'm so proud that we have that. Don't get me wrong, and that we are making these big monumental moments in the toy industry. But at the same time, I'm like, oh my goodness, why was this not a thing like so many years ago? You know?
Mm-hmm. I know. I feel the exact same way. It is not normalized yet that people without those conditions are going to buy those toys for their own toy collection. So that's another thing we're trying to reinforce is like, you don't have to like for the Barbie, you don't have to have autism to get the autism Barbie. Like we should all be getting it so we can like normalize it really. And just because we need to really embrace the diversity in our differences. And I think I'm hoping that's where the toy industry is going.
Yes, like I want to see this be the future on that. So kind of backing up a little bit, getting into the founding story of the Butterfly Pig. When and how did the Butterfly Pig get started?
So I wrote this children's book about a pig with butterfly wings, and it's a story of inclusion and self-love and embracing differences. And it wasn't until mid-pandemic on maternity leave that I started kind of ideating the idea of this business, and it just seemed like a perfect meld. So we ended up naming the business after the book, and I finally got the book illustrated and all that. It actually, funny enough, the business started more so as being a retail space for dolls, and then the medical accessories were just like a side thing of it because I was making them by hand. So then it just slowly shifted to us just doing the medical toys.
That's so cool. Okay, I have to ask, why the name Butterfly Pig?
It was perfect because we wanted to promote embracing differences and inclusion and self-love, that it would be nice to name the business after the book. And it kind of expanded more into becoming this whimsical mascot that stood for not only embracing differences, but also like defying the impossible and defying expectations. Because even so often with families that get hit with a medical diagnosis, you're told all the things that your child won't be able to do. For a lot of families, it is striving for that and defying expectations and impossibility in this space.
That's so meaningful. So you mentioned that the medical toys or medical tools were like a kind of a side piece at the beginning. Did you have like a specific moment where you realized that these medical products were needed or you should have this? I guess kind of walk me through the thought process of having that.
Yeah, the moment I would say actually came long before, where I was a pediatric oncology nurse and I was putting like real IVs in my patients' teddy bears to help them understand what was going to happen and build trust with them. And then I would have to like take the syringe out of the room because I couldn't leave it with the child because it could connect to their own line. And that's where I recognized the need for these tools. And then when I started making the toys and stuff by hand, I started getting request after request, and I could tell there was a big demand. And it was kind of a process where I realized, hey, maybe I could be the one to make those toys. And at the time they were like, I was doing oven baked clay stuff. Like they weren't official toys. So then I was like, okay, I need to like learn how to make official toys, like make them safe and make them scalable. And then one thing led to another to where we are now.
So now we're going to be getting to know Mary. Mary, what does the founder of the Butterfly Pig entail?
That's a great question because it fluctuates day to day. We have a space, like a 1,700 square foot office space with 30 3D printers. And I'm lucky enough that I live really close to my parents, so they both work here too. They basically volunteer here. And a couple of my mom's bunco friends work here. So I come into the office every day, and sometimes I'm out there helping assemble stuff depending on how busy it is. But often I am in meetings. So I am meeting with different hospitals or meeting with families or different nonprofit organizations, talking about the products and the bigger mission and trying to get the word out.
I love that. So would you say that that's kind of what a typical day looks like at the Butterfly Pig?
Yeah, it's chaos usually. I have kids here sometimes, so every day is different, but it's usually some making products. Sometimes I'm making videos to post on social media, or I'm meeting with hospitals, or I'm designing new products. So my dad does a lot of the CAD design, the actual what we use in the 3D printers. Now that he's on board, he does most of that design because he's a former engineer and he's better than me, to be frank. So he does that. And then I still, I'll look at his prototypes, tell him what to change. And I make the actual like labels and stickers that go on them. So it's fun. And I don't think that any day is the same here.
That sounds like so much fun. And you have like a hand and you're pretty much involved in like everything.
Yeah, it's very hands-on, and every single product we make from scratch here. So we'll 3D print the pieces, but there's a lot of assembly involved too. We make about half of the stickers, the other half we get made externally. If you could see the workspace right now, it is chaos because we have over 100 different products now. So if you break it down to their pieces, like there's bins and labels and things everywhere.
But it's fun chaos. Chaotic but fun.
Yes, that's how like my brain works, is it's like organized chaos is what I like to call it, because we know where everything is.
Yes, that's kind of how my doll room is right now. There's clothes everywhere and there's dolls everywhere. Some dolls are not even dressed, but like it's organized. It just doesn't look like it on the outside.
Oh yeah, and I have 2 big bins of dolls too, like that I use in videos, and half of them are naked because my daughter likes taking the clothes off. So
what advice would you give to someone who wants to start their own business?
If they want to do it, just start it. Like there's a word they use in the entrepreneur world is a minimally viable product, where you don't want to wait until you have the perfect product to get it out there, because like, especially for like a toy, it could be, if you want to get something made in mass overseas, it could be like $50,000. It's insane.
Oh my gosh.
So like what I did when I first started was like making these little replicas out of oven baked clay, painting it myself. And then I was able to see if people wanted it. And when they did, like I'd get feedback. And then over time, like you grow. So with any business, whatever type it is, like just start taking that imperfect action, and you'll learn as you go and get better every day.
Oh my goodness. I love that. I'm kind of new to like the behind the scenes world. Like the toy industry is something that I've always wanted to work in. So hearing like just little facts about, going overseas and having that be a huge amount of money is just mind blowing to me. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes, I know. That's why 3D printing has really helped in the world of making small scale toys accessible. There's all these other things to consider of like making it toy safe. So if you actually are going to sell it, then just making sure that they're made out of safe materials, and that we're following like, here it's the American standards of toy manufacturing. So there's a lot that I've learned along the way to get to where we are now.
Yeah. I'm majoring in business management, and the amount of just like safety things that I've learned, like either in my HR class or just like in general management classes, I'm like, oh my goodness, like there's so much components to this than what I originally thought.
I know. And I think that's, if you know all that, if you know too much before you ever start a business, you might not want to ever start one. So you got to start it for the passion of wanting to do what you want to do. And then those other pieces you'll learn as you go. But yeah, definitely I would say if somebody wants to start a business, do it for the passion, not for like the money, because it's pretty rare to make money from businesses, especially in the beginning.
No, I agree. And I think businesses are also more successful internally and externally, when you do have that passion, you're going to attract more customers because they could see that you love what you do and you're very passionate.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I would say the same for the butterfly pig. I feel like, Mary, you're so passionate, and everybody who's bought it really has loved the products.
Yeah. Thank you. I know it's hard because I feel like I don't know if I could ever not do this now because I just like, I love so much what we're doing and I'm hoping we can make it last.
What is one thing that you hope to do while working for the Butterfly Pig?
Our bigger mission is trying to eliminate the preventable medical trauma that happens in the healthcare system. So one thing we're trying to do is shift the conversation. And right now, like the hospital leadership often puts most of their money and budget towards like physical safety and not like the more emotional safety and mental health aspect of care. So we're trying to get hospitals to realize how important it is to invest in like these types of tools and child life services and psychosocial support. Like there's so much that we can do to make healthcare less traumatic. And that's where we're trying to really make an impact.
Alrighty, I am very excited about this one. I was excited about the other ones too, but one of the things that I really love to talk about on the podcast is the importance of inclusion and diversity in the doll industry. In your own experience, Mary, how can dolls and stuffed animals be effective for helping children process medical experiences?
You know, there's a couple different things that I would want to address here. The first one I would say would be just the representation and feeling seen, because children, they naturally want to play out the world around them. And you see that when like we have all these play kitchens and they want to mimic like what they see their parents do. You have play laptops now. Like that's how they process the world around them. So we absolutely need to allow that access in the medical world too. So whether the child is getting medical care themselves or they're seeing a family member get medical care, they need a way to get that out and process it. And so medical toys really allow that access. It not only allows that post-processing, but also preparation. So most medical fear and anxiety is due to unfamiliarity with like medical devices in the medical environment. So if we can prepare kids ahead of time, like in a safe way, if they see a mini toy Echo before they see the real thing, we've found families are saying that these kids just get excited and they start showing the Echo Tech and asking questions using the toy. So it invites kids into the conversation of their own care.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I remember growing up, like when I would buy medical sets, it's like the standard checkup stuff that you would see at the doctor. It wasn't very in depth or anything at all. And I remember as I got older and as I, had to get different things done, I remember I had to get an MRI when I was like in 6th or 7th grade or something. And I remember being so scared. And I was like, what is this machine going to do to me? Like, it could be scary, like whatever you're going through and stuff. And so I feel like if I had something like that, because I was still very much playing with my dolls and into my dolls, it definitely would have taken that scary feelings away. And like you mentioned, kids mimic, what they see. And I work in childcare and I could very well test up to that. And we got this new toy the other day. It was like this concession stand. And how you pay for it, they give you like a wooden credit card. And so all the kids are really excited to use the credit card because they see their mom and dad paying with stuff with credit cards and different things like that.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. And we had, I had somebody just reach out and say they gifted a doll with our cochlear implants to I forget how old the girl was. I want to say she was like 3 or so, but she had her older brother who was a teenager was the one with the cochlear implants. And when she gifted the doll to the little girl, her brother was there and he started crying just like from seeing that representation. Like it is so huge.
Yeah. Like I remember when I grew up having bangs, and I remember when Taylor Swift cut bangs, and I I cried about that because I was like, oh my goodness, there's a celebrity that looks like me now.
Yeah.
Like seeing yourself represented in your different spaces that you're in just means so much to someone, no matter the age.
Yeah, absolutely.
What misconceptions do people often have about people or children using medical devices that toys can help with?
That is a really good question because as a society, I feel like a lot of people with medical conditions are looked like it's a taboo thing to ask about it or talk about it. And like you'll see, like if somebody is in public and they're using like a walker or mobility aid, like a child might be staring at them because they haven't seen it before. And you often see parents say, no, don't look. And like, that's, I think, what is causing this to happen in society because we haven't normalized it yet. So I really think that having more exposure to people with medical conditions and toys with medical toys or with the medical devices, then we're able to normalize it more and even normalize talking about it and learning about it at home. Because I know we have so many devices here where my daughter's asking me all the time what they are. And one of the ones, for example, is like the long canes for those that are blind. We have a couple different types, like the white long cane with like the red bottom. And so we talk about what it means. So now when she's out in public and she sees it, she's not staring and she's not like wondering, she'll get excited and be like, hey, I know what that is. And then that's it. So I think it really, it's seen as this taboo thing. And that's where including more inclusive toys like this should shift the conversation to being more normalized. There's a lot of good children's books out there now that kind of address this topic too, like Just Ask by Sonia Sotomayor. It's like if you don't know, like the kids can ask and whoever they're asking, if they're comfortable answering it, they can, or they say, no, you can learn about that at home. Like I think that it's just making it so we're not trying to make this some uncomfortable thing because it's just like asking somebody, hey, why do you have purple hair? It's yeah.
It's not coming off as like rude or hurtful too, like it's just the curiosity and also like you're eager to learn.
Yeah, and that's where kids are curious creatures. So when they're staring, it's usually because they're unfamiliar with it and they want to learn about it. So ideally, they will learn about these types of like visual differences like in books and media and toys. So then they don't have to wonder when they're out in the real world.
We kind of touched on this a little bit, but in your opinion, why is representation in toys so important, especially for children with medical conditions or disabilities?
I feel like representation kind of, what we talked about is with like even the Bangs and Taylor Swift, like there's something to be said about feeling seen and just knowing that you are welcome. There's, we don't want anybody to feel othered. And when we're looking around in the world and people don't look like us, then we naturally kind of fall into that and thinking that we're different or not enough. Representation in toys is like a small piece of that in just helping everyone to feel seen and included.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Absolutely. And I feel like with today's world, we definitely need that representation more so than ever.
Yeah, I guess it goes into a bigger conversation, but it's about like raising a more inclusive and accepting next generation.
What role do you think medical toys and/or dolls can play in building empathy along others who don't have medical challenges or experiences?
That is where I see so much potential. It's inviting kids to ask questions and want to learn about others' experiences in this life so they can have more empathy and understanding. There was a story that someone shared a while back of like how their child had a doll with a wheelchair, and it wasn't one of our tools, but they were playing with it and learning like how the wheelchair worked and how like it couldn't go up the stairs of the dollhouse and stuff. And then when they were out in public, like they were already like more naturally asking questions like, how would somebody in a wheelchair get up that? And it shifts, it helps invite kids into that thinking of like what others are experiencing, and like, hey, how come there isn't a wheelchair ramp here? And like, it's just like those little shifts, which I think are going to be really impactful in the next generation of like even just architecture design and stuff, like just getting people to consider what others' experiences are.
I know you mentioned a story in the podcast earlier in our conversation, but has there been any stories from families that have really meant a lot to you or has touched your heart?
Oh my gosh, so many. I've had families say that like playing with the toy Echo prevented, which is like the echocardiogram, like echocardiogram, like an ultrasound for the heart. Mm-hmm. And they've said playing with that toy prevented their kid from needing sedation because they were so anxious the last time they had it and were moving around too much. So I just think that's such an amazing like medical outcome. But then I've also had the stories like about the children that when they open the package, like just them breaking down and crying and feeling so seen and excited to have toys that represent them. I had a mom recently who said that her daughter was going through a tough time in the hospital and completely shut down and wasn't talking to anybody. And when they brought out her doll with an NG tube on it, then it immediately got her to start talking, and it like basically shifted the entire experience for her. So they seem like, it seems like too simple of a thing having a toy for it to make it as big of an impact as it has. But it time and time again, we're getting these stories that are just incredible.
Yeah, I've seen some videos on my TikTok or Instagram on social media of people unboxing these dolls that look like them because they have, a wheelchair or a feeding tube with them. Like, and it's just so incredible. And that's one thing that I really hope to accomplish with the podcast when I have these conversations like this, that dolls, toys really means something to people, and their impact is more than I think words can explain.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
They have the power to change the world. Mary, it sounds like you are changing the world, like with having your toys and this medical tools. And oh my goodness, you're just so amazing.
Without the people who are actually buying them, they would just be toys. So it's the people who recognize the importance and the need, and they're buying them for those in their life. Like they're the ones who are making the impact.
Alrighty, everyone, we have reached the end of this episode. I always get so sad, and I'm so sad about this one ending because I really enjoyed it. Oh my goodness, Mary, thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you for having me. This was such a fun conversation.
I really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad. You're welcome to come back on the podcast anytime you want.
Thank you.
Y'all, you need to go check out the Butterfly Pig if you haven't done so already. What are you doing with your life? You need to go give them some love on their socials. You need to go check out their website. Go purchase some amazing products. They're at the Butterfly Pig on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Once again, those links will be linked in the description of this podcast, so you can just easily scroll down wherever you're listening, click on it, and go give them a follow. Go check out their website, because they deserve all the love in the world. My name is Mal. I am at Dollies and Rainbows on all social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much everywhere. But you should definitely go check out the Doll Mom Podcast on social media platforms at Doll Mom Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, Getting Fancy with Freds, and TikTok. Alrighty, everyone. I want to thank you who is listening to this podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great time until we talk next. Bye, everyone.
Bye.